Hey, hold on. Hold. Bag up, Terry. Put in reverse, Terry. Oh, Lord, Jesus.
Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Sooner Terry.
And we are coming at you from the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. How's it going, Rob?
It's going, man. It's my kind of weather outside. It's nice and cool, a little bit rainy. I like it.
Yeah, well, we got a great podcast coming up for everybody. We have Tyler McComas from co-host, I guess, right, of The Rush on Sportstalk 1400, home of the Sooners here in Norman, Oklahoma. In my opinion, the best radio station and sports talk radio station that we have around here. And
agreed.
90% of the time they talk Sooner sports, Sooner football, and so which always makes us happy. But Tyler, he co-hosts with Teddy Lehman, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about coaching at Oklahoma. And I'm messing with my microphone here. You'd think I'd done this before we started recording, but a little
Nothing like being prepared, Terry.
a little bit of OU coaching, probably a little bit of softball, probably a little bit of pro football.
Whatever he wants to talk about.
Whatever we can get out there. But before we get him on, we got to, hit everybody up. Once again, the band that you hear in the intro and the exit music is Fever Tree. Check out their music on Spotify.
You think they got a spot for a air guitar player?
Yeah, they've actually.
I can really get down with some air guitar. I'm not going to lie, Terry.
I'm just glad you didn't want to be a backup dancer again. So.
Well, I could do that too, but I'm not sure that would help their cause.
But check out their music. It's Fever Tree on, like I said, Spotify and YouTube. Also, give the OU Club of Atlanta a follow. Great organization. We're going to be having them on here pretty soon to talk about all the good things that they do. And Dan Donnelly from Tailgate Connect. He's been kind of quiet this week. Haven't heard much from him.
He must be packing.
Must be packing to get out of that lovely California land. But I said we're going to talk a little bit of Sooner football. We're running a little bit behind on our time tonight because we just watched History in the Making.
That's right.
Phil Mickelson, at 50 years old, wins the PGA Championship. Gives me hope, Rob.
Yeah.
That I can
still got a shot.
I still got a shot,
Yeah, Phil was my dad's favorite golfer because he was left-handed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad was lefty too, so.
Yeah, he can make some pretty incredible shots, but what was he, 2 or 3 over?
I don't know.
Today?
He didn't have a great day.
But neither did anybody else on the course.
Yeah, I can't even imagine trying to play that course. Oh,
yeah.
Geez, that would
Again, what is it, 17, 230-yard par 3 over water.
With a 21-mile-an-hour wind.
And they're hitting 5 irons. And 6 irons.
I'd rather just drive up there with the cart and drop one on the green because I'm not sure I can make it any other way.
Just throw one in the water and then drop on the other side.
Right. Yeah, I'm dropping here. Here's 3. Yeah.
But no, it was pretty cool to see everybody. Again, it wasn't a great round of golf by anybody, but it's still cool to see history, something like that, in the making. But
yeah, because a lot of people are saying that, the old guys are not ever going to win again because the young guys are just hitting it so far.
Yeah.
Terry, I mean, what's his face? Bryson DeChambeau is hitting it 370 off the tee. And really, every hole for him is driver wedge.
Yeah.
Where the other guys are hitting, 6 irons, 7 irons.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Last week, DeChambeau hit a pitching wedge, something like 198 yards.
Yeah, something stupid.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I couldn't hit a pitching wedge 200 yards if I shot it out of a shotgun.
I can hit one that far, Terry, but it's only when I'm right beside the green, and I only want to hit it 10 yards. Then I can hit that thing 200 yards.
True. But Let's cut to the chase and get Mr. Tyler on the phone with us. All right. We got Tyler McComas on the phone. How are we doing today, Tyler?
I'm doing fantastic. Big fan of the podcast. I don't know if it's acceptable here to be drinking a glass of whiskey while I'm on with you guys, but from what I know of you two, I don't think that you two guys will.
Well, we prefer bourbon, but we'll settle with whiskey. So whatever.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Well, I'm taking it easy today. I got a 7-Eleven icy. So after a long day of golf this morning, I came home and ate a hot dog and got an icy drink. So if only I wish that could be on my diet right now. Hot dogs and ice and can. That sounds. So now I know what the tailgate that you guys have looks like. Then hot dogs and icy. So. Oh yeah, exactly.
Spiked icy. Probably,
Spiked ice. We actually
and the great thing about 7-Eleven is you can get both of those at the same place. Right?
Exactly.
You get a
Now
7-Eleven
you can.
hot dog and the icy that's right there, and you're walking out of there with like $1.98 for a whole meal. It's not too bad.
We have some friends that run. What is it called? Nikki works there now. She runs those Paradise. Is it Paradise? Is that what it's called?
Something ice.
Something
Eskimo
ice. Eskimo, something like that.
Yeah,
But it's pre-mixed slushy alcohol drinks.
I've had one of those before.
Oh yeah,
I've had one of those.
Pretty tasty.
That just screams September home game to me. To be honest with you.
And she'll call us like on Friday before home game and go, "Can I bring some of our new flavors down to you guys?" And you guys hand them out and pass out flyers. And we're like, gee, let me think.
Here's the funny part, Tyler. They never make it past Terry's house. They never make it to the
that is
tailgate.
weird how that works out.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
where are those drinks
that
at? Terry's
mystery
like, I
real
don't
quick.
know.
I don't know. She didn't bring them. But so first off, I want to. I need to get an understanding. You're fixing to get married, correct?
I'm getting married on July 31st in Destin, Florida. So yes, that's correct.
Okay. What the hell type of class did you go to learn something
Oh
this
God,
week?
guys, you're actually the first ones to find out about this, and it's worse than like what you heard last week. So it's this it's called Bar 3. And it's a thing where all these women go to, and it's kind of like yoga, but it kicked my ass to be just like 100. It does like these like squats. It's all about squats and doing. I mean, it's like I it worked me out unlike anything I haven't done in a long time. So that's not even the worst part of it, though. There was a big group of us in the wedding party that went to it. It's my fiance's idea. She works out there and she wanted everybody to go. Whatever. Shake my head, nod. Yeah, babe, sure. Sounds like a good time. Well, she flung this on me yesterday. She wore like a bride top. I mean, it's just a workout top that says bride on it. And she throws it on me that I'm wearing a T-shirt that says groom across it. I mean, how big of an asshole do I look like just walking around with a groom T-shirt? And we do that to work out. And then we go to a social capital, which is a pretty cool bar here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And we're there for like 5 hours, and I'm just like walking around with the groom T-shirt. And I could tell a lot of these dudes out there were judging me, and I just kind of like to hang my head. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I deserve it.
Okay, but what is this class for? I mean,
it's just for like working out. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a workout class. Like the instructor and her are really good friends, or the owner of it. And she said, hey, for a wedding gift, I will have you, your fiance, and all your friends or bridal party, whatever, come do a class for free. So that's why it happened.
that sounds horrible.
It's pretty awful.
Dear, can I just watch?
I can't even sit down today. It sucks, man. I don't know what's worse, the pain that I feel now or the embarrassment. There's like pictures on the internet with me in that groom T-shirt. Guys, it's tough. I'm telling you.
I don't know if somebody said, hey, for your wedding gift or any gift whatsoever, I'm giving you a workout class. I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the worst gift ever. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hey, a toaster works, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, isn't that also saying like maybe you're a little bit fat, and like, here's my gift to you, and I'm going to work you out so you at least look a little bit, okay for your wedding. Like, yeah, that's basically, I think, what was being said there.
Oh, well, I guess congratulations on the nice wedding gift. I mean, I thought it was some type of like pre-wedding ceremony or something. I didn't quite understand. Now I understand it was just a workout class. I thought it was something y'all were doing to prepare for something for your wedding. So
no, well, and that T-shirt that I had to wear yesterday, it's going to affect me for a while.
Now, what about at the after wedding party? Is there going to be a bridegroom surprise dance, or is that still under hush hush?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a reception. It's actually right there on the beach. It's going to be cool. So, man, I don't really care about a lot of the stuff, And she's like, "Hey, we get this many songs to pick. Which songs would you like?" I'm like, honestly, like, if you just want to pick the songs, that's cool. I don't care. Like, there is going to be a dance to it, And she was like, "You understand that you have to slow dance and fast dance with me?" I'm like, guys, I'm as wide as it comes when it comes to dancing. Like, there's no need. I'll slow dance, sure. I mean, I'm not great at it, but yeah, there's going to be the dance and the whole thing, and there's all these decisions that need to be made. And all of them, I just say, I don't care, which she gets pissed off at.
Yeah, I was going to say, dude, okay.
It's a whole ordeal.
I've been married 30-plus years, and saying I don't care at 30 years is just as bad as prior to, honey, I don't care, whatever you want. It doesn't work for anything. I mean, you would think it would
Rob
be.
is taking notes.
You would think it would be, hey, honey, whatever you want to do is fine. No, that doesn't
Okay.
cut it. No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, and I love being in the situations where there's like no right answer at all. Like you get cornered into a situation, like whatever you say is going to be the crappiest answer of all time, and it's actually going to go the other way. Still trying to work through that.
Oh yeah, and I don't know how many times it's been. Let's go somewhere for dinner. What do you want? She'll go, I don't care. I was like, okay, well, Tara Humaris. I don't really want Mexican. Okay, Zio's. My stomach's upset. I'm like, well, then where do you want to go? I don't care. I've just named 2 places.
That's what you do.
She sounds like a lovely lady, but if she's saying no to Tara's, I mean, come on,
Right?
Right.
Come on. What's going on there?
But
As soon as she says, I don't care, Terry, you don't say another word. You just drive wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And say, get out.
Right. Yeah.
That's a single man answer right there is what that was.
And I'm going to tell her that Rob told me to do this.
Right.
And see
I
how,
want to see that.
Yeah, that'll go over well.
Yes.
But, so did you get a chance to watch any of the softball today?
I get so into softball, and admittedly, like, I am the typical softball fan that very casually pays attention during the regular season, and then acts like Mr. Super Fan once the postseason gets here. Like, I'll admit I am that guy, but I love it. I went to the Big 12 championship game when they played Oklahoma State last weekend in Oklahoma City, and it's a blast, man. And something I said on the radio show is, college football is going through this time right now where that is okay. Missing bowl games are okay. We saw that in college basketball this year. It seems like softball is the kind of last major college sports right now where it's still all about the team. It's still all about the teammates. It's got that true traditional college feel that college football used to have. It's about team. It's about the university. It's really cool to witness how good those girls are doing a pitching change, coming out and doing changes back and forth with the crowd. It's just, I don't know. It's a really, really awesome program. And today, they down 4-0, and they go right back. And that's not just a this year thing.
It's the only thing that I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, Sooner Lisa. Have you ever seen her stuff on Twitter?
Probably so. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, she lives on the other side of, what is it, Reeves Park over there?
Yeah.
She lives on the other side. And when you're over somebody visiting somebody's house, and you can always tell that softball is playing because all of a sudden you start saying, "Get about," you hear all those chants going on. It's like, good Lord, we're a mile away.
I know. It's probably going to be a while until they build that new park, but Do they not deserve it? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they deserve what they're getting and even more. I mean, and that's kind of the crazy thing too, is because it's such an arms race in college football. It's, well, God, if we had better football facilities, we can recruit at a higher level. We could do this if we had better facilities, if we had more money, like all this. Like, think about the OU softball program right now. They're the best program in the entire country.
Yep.
And they don't have as much as a lot of those SEC schools, a lot of those Pac-12 schools. And college football, that would be used as an excuse. It's like, yeah, we're not winning at the highest level, but, I mean, come on. If our facilities were better, we would. OU is, I don't want to say lagging behind in facilities, but, again, they don't have, some of the same facilities as, Arizona or
Right.
LSU or Florida. But that's not an excuse. They still go out. They still get the best girls year in and year out. And they still win a whole bunch of championships. It's just their mindset is just really awesome.
Well,
And speaking of that, they signed the number 1 player in the nation to come in next year, right? She's a pitcher
yeah.
and a hitter.
And I've said for, I guess, the last 2 years is I don't know why, because they start, in February? Why don't they build this team an indoor facility?
Right.
An indoor stadium. I mean, it's you would bring more players. Everybody, it'd be a huge atmosphere, or at least a covered stadium or something like that, something
Well,
different.
they are raising money to build them a new stadium, but I don't think it's indoors.
Yeah, if the Bisons of one of them North Dakotas or South Dakotas can have an indoor football stadium, the Oklahoma
Right, yeah.
Sooner softball team should have an indoor softball stadium. That's just my opinion.
Well, it
Yeah,
gets
North
negative
Dakota
50
State
there.
plays in the Fargo Dome up there.
Yeah.
Retractable roof in Norman. We'll put you two guys on the building project there.
There we go.
Yeah. We'll handle it.
Now, the only thing, me and Rob were sitting here watching it. We didn't watch all of it because we're big golf fans, and so we were wanting to watch, Phil almost get ran over and trampled coming up the fairway on
18. Yeah.
18.
He got mugged there.
He got mugged by the crowd. But it made me a little uncomfortable, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway.
Uh-oh.
One of the chants that they were – it wasn't really a chant. They were just singing the chorus of a song, which was, ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby, ooh, baby, baby, And I turned to Rob. I was like, do you know what comes after that
I didn't,
line?
just for the record.
Yeah. Do you know what comes after that line, Tyler?
I do. Why don't you go ahead and remind us, since that karaoke voice of yours is working so well tonight.
Me love you long time. I'm like, somebody needs to tell them. They don't need to be singing, because all that's going through my head is, Full Metal Jacket,
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that looked like one of the scenes in Happy Gilmore today on wrestling.
But no, we were Rob actually towards the end of the game. I flipped it over and it was 4-0 Wichita State, and then it was 8-4 that quick. And I think Rob a little bit later it was 14-7, and then Rob goes, "Hey, it's 18-7 now," and I flipped it. I hit the channel changer and I go, "Nope, it's 19-7 now."
And then all of a sudden it was
24.
24. I don't even know what it ended at.
Yeah. They still, maybe running the bases down there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
And that's what's cool about that sport too is, and I mean we all love baseball, right? But softball has everything that baseball can give you, but in a quicker time period.
Oh yeah.
The games are so much quicker. You still get the home runs that you want to see. You still get the amazing defensive plays you want to see. It's just, I mean, it's like a better version of college baseball, guys. To be just quite honest with you.
Well, I think college softball has surpassed college baseball. I mean, as far as popularity. I mean, they've done a better job at I think marketing it. I mean, and I didn't realize that they put an upper deck on, the Hall of Fame Stadium down there. So that thing is. Yeah, I mean, it. I was driving up the highway, 2 weekends ago, and I was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Holy cow, that's that's the softball stadium." They've done I mean, and it brings in, I don't know, thousands of people, and it's always packed, and everybody's standing outside wanting tickets. So it only makes sense to, build it up better.
Yeah, they've invested a ton of money in it, and it's been such a huge deal for Oklahoma City. And you know what's nice too isn't it annoying having to play LSU in a national championship in New Orleans, or Florida and Florida State in a national championship in Miami?
Oh yeah.
Like finally, OU has something where it's to like, okay, like you got to come to Oklahoma City. God, for so long we do anything just to have a national football championship in Dallas.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
type of home field advantage might that be? And now, softball's got that thing in Oklahoma City, and I think that matters every year
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we're going to pack it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for sure. They're going to be all OU fans.
And when Oklahoma's in it, I think more the teams that are in it as well bring more fans because they're trying to pack it
Totally.
to overcome Oklahoma's quote home field advantage. But
yeah,
I think
I agree. Especially those SEC schools, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're playing in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in it. We need people to load up and come and watch. Now let's get into a little bit of your show, The Rush, with Teddy Lehman. Has Teddy ever punched you in the throat?
Yeah. I mean, like we talk 4 hours every single day.
Right.
So basically, we talk with each other more than he talks with his wife and his kids on a daily basis, or at least really close to it. So when you're when you talk somebody 20 hours a week, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just an odd, just a very unique situation where, I mean, there's kind of like nothing that's ever left on the table. Like everything's kind of always out there. But no, I mean, and I say this honestly, he has a funny persona on the radio for sure. He is one of the most generous, one of the most kind. He is just a good, down to earth person. Like that's not me just saying that just to say that. He is one of the nicer and just good individuals that you'll ever meet. And I'm very lucky and fortunate that, that's my co-host every day rather than some jackwagon who's, not the nicest guy of all time, so it could definitely be worse.
Well, I'll say this on my part. We see Teddy quite often up at the coaches show at Rudy's, and he's not, he's never been anything but nice, to me, and I think Rob, right, Rob?
Right, yeah. He's not punched me or anything. So that's a good thing because I'm pretty sure I would die.
But I'm just saying that he makes me nervous because he has that look. Maybe it's a linebacker look.
Definitely is.
That when you're talking to him enough, and I don't think, I just get this feeling. I was like, okay, I need to shut up and walk away now.
Well, I mean, that never leaves you. I mean, think about it. Like, think of that coaching staff back then. I mean, he was coached by a bunch of psychotic men. Brent Venables was psychotic. Mike Stoops was the definition of psychotic. And then if you even get past those two guys, then there's Bob at kind of the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
And he watches Mark Mangino on a daily basis grab people by the face mask. It's shocking that he's not psychotic because of how many psychotic men he was with for 4 years of his college career. I mean,
no, but he.
Well, think about it. Think of all those assistants back then, and how many of them ended up getting in trouble at other schools for being way too harsh.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys. Leach got fired for it. Mangino got fired for it. Kevin Wilson got fired for it. So there's 3 coaches on one staff.
Yeah, but no, I mean he is. I mean Teddy is. He's always been raw. I'm just kidding, kinda. That.
I hear you, man.
His wife is I know a Steelers fan, and he was. We talked Steelers pretty much every night until we went down the dark tunnel of winning, losing, or going 1-4 in our last 5 games.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst experiences of my life, and the other thing is, and I'm saying this as politely as I can. I can't stand Brett Musburger.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Could y'all every now and then not play the Superman call?
Man.
Kind of at this point, it's all right, guys, we get it.
Yeah. And it's not because it's not a great call. It's just I'm not a And Rob, what did you used to call him?
Yeah, I didn't much care for Brent Musburger either.
Yeah,
but I still like that call.
Oh yeah, that call.
I mean,
and I've always wanted to talk to Teddy about it because my understanding, everybody, and I think everybody, the great play that Roy Williams made, but Roy Williams was doing completely opposite of what he was supposed to be doing.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Teddy was the only one, thank God, who did something right on that play, and caught and scored. But I think that's the part that everybody continues to forget was Roy wasn't supposed to be there. That wasn't
supposed to leave his feet.
He totally don't. And some guys just have a confidence about them that they can make that play, and thank God he jumped, right?
Oh, yeah.
I kid with Teddy all the time. It's like, dude, like, you get credit for this play. You just sat there and caught like the easiest ball of all time. Like, let's not act like you're some hero or something. Like, for me, it was like batted right to you. But one of the biggest touchdowns in Utes is
oh yeah.
You hand do something cool in the end zone. Like, how awesome! Like the Superman play in itself is one of the more famous portraits for U football history. I'm like, Teddy, can you imagine how many places your face would be if you just would have thrown the horns down on their end zone? I would go back, I do it. I'm like, dude, that's such a lame celebration for such a huge play.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. Then again, it's coming from us, the elite athletes that Rob and I are,
Right.
I mean, I don't know what I'd have done in that situation. I probably peed my pants.
Right.
I'd have been like, "Oh, did you just see what Roy Williams just did?"
The ball would have hit you in the helmet.
Right. Yeah.
Almost had that one if I just didn't have that popcorn.
Oh, but I love your guys' show. I love how you got,
Appreciate that.
You talk plenty of sports, mix it up with the oddball stuff, which is hilarious. But you guys bring up some points sometimes, and I'm like, ooh, this is an interesting point because as all of us fans know, I keep saying it's like this every year now, but this year's our year, right, Rob?
This is our year.
This is our year. But, I said it back when Lincoln took the job. When we first started the podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about year 1, 2, and 3. I'm worried about year 4, 5, and 6. That's going to be the telltale. Now, Tyler and Teddy brought up on their show, and I think it was you that brought it up, wasn't it, Tyler, that is Oklahoma's problem or why we can't win championships is that we don't have any championship coaches. And I was like, wait a second. We do have one, Kel Gundy, who's been there since dirt now. Makes me feel old. I mean, I remember this guy coming out of high school. And if you go through the coaching staff, there's not a coach on there who's been part, with the exception of Kel Gundy, that's been a part of a national championship team. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're not. And that was kind of my initial question is like, well, how do you, because we hear about championship DNA. How do you get that? Like, how do you find that? Like, how was that kind of developed? Is it just you finally break through and win one and then you have championship DNA? I was kind of looking back at, that early staff in 2000. Of course, Bob won one in the 90s with Florida. But they had a lot of other coaches that were kind of a part of a big rebuild. Bob was Grill at Kansas State. Mike was, BV was during that time.
Right.
So that staff didn't have DNA to it, but their head coach had been a part of a national championship program and kind of understood that. And that was just kind of my question is, like, does this staff understand what it takes to win a championship at this level? And I think that they probably do. I think they probably do. But it is just something that you ponder and do. Well, I hope it's not super important to not. I hope you don't have to have a whole bunch of championship DNA on your staff to break through, because Clemson, Dabo didn't necessarily, but Britt Venables obviously did at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And that was when they kind of made their rise. So they've got really good coaches on the staff. You guys are right. This is their year, man. I mean, This is their year for sure. If they don't break through and win this year, I'm afraid that we're going to slide. Man, are we ever going to break through into these things? So you got to break through and at least win a playoff game this year. It's super, super, super important that you at least win a playoff game. It's your best shot Wilder and Natty, and you got to finally win one of these semifinals for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's, to your point, is that period of time between the Big 12 championship game and the bowl game, whether it be, this is the first time Lincoln's won a bowl game. He's, lost 3? That period, it's such a long period of time between, and especially since it's a playoff now, between that Big 12 championship game and the playoff game. And I think that's where maybe the championship coaching comes into play. And I
agree.
You've got to, spread it out. You got to know the right time to get the guys back into, play mode, strapping it up mode. And I don't think that Lincoln has done a very good job at that. The last, against Florida, yeah, but the Rose Bowl, took his foot off the gas. I think he got out-coached in that second half of just going, I'm going to coast. Then it was Alabama, right?
I certainly hope that's not the case. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it looked like to us. That he's like, okay, we got this one. We're gonna take it back just a notch here,
Yeah.
and not embarrass them.
Well, but I mean, he said it. Baker said that on the Pardon My Take podcast when he first did it. And they were talking about the Rose Bowl, and he goes, "Yeah, we came out and we should have put our foot on the gas, but we came out and took our foot off the gas." And I was like, "I knew it." That. I don't know. I mean, it was an interesting point, and looking through the coaching staff, the one thing that stands out to me is first off is that Bill Beanbo has the worst headshot of any of the coaches.
Oh my gosh! Like or something. What is up with that? I don't know what's up that picture. They get that changed, man. But he's one of those guys. Like, he's just such a tough, big football guy. Like, he's probably like the world's worst at pictures.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't know. Like, he probably feels like when somebody's like smile, he's probably like.
Because it's been the same picture now for 5 or 6 years, and it's like somebody, does he just go, nope, that's as good as it gets. I'm not going to do it.
All right, okay, what it looked like. Just put it in.
Yeah, just put it. It is definitely a different look. But looking through, like I said, this coaching staff, I mean, there's none of them I don't think have been, the recent hires are, DeMarco and Joe John. Benny Wiley actually kind of, as fit as he is, he wasn't as big as I thought he'd be.
I wouldn't say anything to him.
No.
I mean, he's a pretty fit fella.
Yeah, well, that's a line from Roadhouse, isn't it? I thought you'd be bigger. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and it's just I don't know. I mean, it seems like we're in that mode now as fans. At least that's how I feel. We're in this mode of, well, this year is our year. You better beat us now. 2 years ago, you better beat us now, because in the next 2 years, you're not going to be able to, And I feel like I've been in that mode for 5 years now.
Right. Well, I mean, and what I've kind of really thought about is, like, why do we like that? It's true. But why do we feel like that? Do we feel like that because we think that this team has gotten so much better since Lincoln has took over? Do we feel like this particular team is going to be the best one we've seen since 2008? Or do we feel that way because Alabama's reloading in a lot of positions? Do we feel that way because Clemson and Ohio State are also replacing a quarterback? I want to feel like it's our year because we got a really good football team. And I think that that's going to be true. But it's almost like now, and I hate this, is, well, we can win a national championship this year because Alabama and Clemson aren't going to be as good.
Yeah, see.
And, you guys know about the history of college football. Oklahoma's dominated the history of college football. It hasn't mattered in the past who's been good those years. OU's still going to go out there and beat you in the national championship. That's the mood now. You got 3 guys. They're down this year. Okay, we got to break through this year and win the national championship because, boy, in 2022 they'll be good again and we won't have a chance to win it. That's not the mentality that this program needs.
See, I think that Terry and I feel like this is our year, or we're in that mode because we're finally playing defense.
Yeah.
I think the defense is going to be better than the offense this year. I thought it was last year, and I think that's going to be. I think their defense this year is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
I think they are. I think they're going to turn teams over. I think their turnover numbers are going to be huge this year. I think they're going to get after the quarterback. They just got dudes on the defensive line right now. Like, this defense is going to be the best they've had since 2009. I feel really, really good about saying
Yeah.
that.
Well, the old adage is true. Defense wins
championships.
championships. So,
No doubt.
But I mean, for years until last year, really, I mean, Oklahoma, it was we just got to outscore whoever we're playing, and we've talked about it 100 times on the Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech fiasco again. People are like, that was one of the greatest games I've ever saw. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was horrid.
it was like a basketball score.
If you're playing a game like against Alabama or somebody, like maybe you can appreciate it a little bit more. We're talking about being a loser. Like, you should never be proud about it. Back and forth game with Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, no way.
It was what's that? It was like watching Plinko. You just turn the table a little bit higher on one side, and you tick 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 tick. You turn it the other way, tick 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 tick. It was just, it was hard for me to watch.
It was like that game against West Virginia. Remember when Tavon Austin and what was that other kid that just?
2012.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a track meet.
Yeah, I am. I'm with you. I think our defense was not a lot better, but better than our offense last year. I think this year it's going to be a lot better.
This is our year.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know.
There's your T-shirt idea, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
This is our year.
Now I'm going to get. I got to make T-shirts. It's Natty's not Heismans.
I'd buy that.
I am so and I know it's big for recruiting and everything else, but it's like. I guarantee if you talk to Baker, Kyler, all those guys, if they could give that trophy back for a national title.
I don't know, Terry.
What?
I don't know. Personally, for them, that means a whole lot.
Yeah, true. But, I'm at the point of, every year at this point in time, they start talking about, Heisman contenders, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I could care less if we got another guy in New York sitting there in the athletic club if we're in the playoffs. I could care less about it. It's just like, I know it's good for recruiting. I know it's good for the school, but I'm just like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of winning that one and then, turning around and going home in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that crazy to say out loud? Because I remember when I was a kid, the first OU Heisman winner ever, I witnessed was Jason White.
Yeah.
And, like, for a kid that just only cared about OU football, like, the immense pride I felt for Jason White winning the Heisman is something that I still remember today. I mean, it was incredible, but I don't think that you're in the minority of saying that at all. And that's not just Heisman trophies. It's Big 12 championships right now.
Yeah.
I mean, OU is currently on the longest streak that it's ever been on without winning a national championship.
Yep.
And everyone is like tiredly fall short in the same game every year, and I get that. So winning a Big 12 championship is definitely cool in the moment when it happens, but it's like it's almost looked at as like whatever, make it my final game. It's like it's like we won't be able to appreciate anything else good that happens until they finally win their next national championship.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I mean, I remember getting upset when Josh Heupel didn't win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, I was mad. And, then all the big deal, about, Torrance Marshall, I'm coming to get my boy's trophy, all that smack talk. Now I'm tired of hearing about it. It was about, remember when Torrance was going to come? Nope. Don't care about it. It's not relevant anymore. I want to, I want to go win one of those games again. It's time. Look, I'm saying I want to go win. Like, I'm going to be on the bus.
I was there in Miami in 2000, and I promise you there were more Florida State fans there than there were Oklahoma fans. And we brought a lot of people.
Yeah.
But there definitely was more Miami Hurricane fans.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and when they win their next one, they are going to win another one. I believe that. But when it happens, like, there's no way that we could ever replicate the 2000 season.
Oh,
and,
no.
Like, the excitement level and, what it felt like after the Nebraska game and what it felt like winning a national championship. Like, just what OU went through in the 90s and the quick rise, like, you can't ever replace that ever again.
Well, I mean,
when they
in?
Finally win their next one, like, it's not going to feel like that, but it's going to feel pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Guys.
Good,
I mean, it'll be, like, if you want to, like, rank the excitements of the national championships, like, since it's been so long, I think this will be, like, a pretty clear number 2 just in terms of what it's meant to the fan base to finally get back over the hump. It's like everyone's just going to breathe a deep sigh of relief and just be like, oh, my God, finally. Okay,
yeah.
Finally.
But,
yes, thank you.
The bigger thing, though, I mean, Oklahoma has been relevant since 2000. You know what I mean? I mean, the 90s, we weren't relevant at all. I mean, which was, something that, like my dad, and God rest his soul, was, his whole lifetime was not aware of that could even happen, that Oklahoma not be relevant in football. And I think that's what made the 2000 so special, was just 2 years out. We won 2 games. If we won 2 games, I don't remember what we won Blake's last year. And, to turn that, into 2 years, but Bob kept them relevant, and to Lincoln's credit, Oklahoma's still relevant. And they're always in the discussion. I couldn't handle being, an Oklahoma State fan or, Texas fan right now, because they're not relevant. I mean, and that, I think, is what.
It's good to be a Sooner? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Jerry?
it's good. It's good, but on the other end, you're just like, when you go back and look at, when we played Clemson in the Camping World Bowl. Yeah. No, in the Camping World Bowl 2 years before the Orange Bowl. Yeah, look what Clemson did from that point on, and what Oklahoma did. Oklahoma's really stayed about the same, and Clemson stepped up to another level and won a couple of titles. That's what irritates me, is we're Oklahoma. We should be able to make that step just as easy as anybody else. But, what do I know?
Right. That wouldn't trade places with OU. Alabama wouldn't, Clemson wouldn't, and
no.
Ohio State wouldn't. Outside that, everybody would give anything just to be what OU is. So when you hear sentiments like that be said, a lot of people, and some people that are OU fans or work for OU, saying, like, "Are you serious? Come on. Things like what you said, you get beat playoffs where you leave, we're still there." No, that goes against the entire history of the program. So
right.
It's not about being a bad fan, or it's not about being spoiled. It's recognizing and realizing what this program's been about for over 50 years right now, and maintaining excellence. Like, that is healthy for this football program, and more people just have to say, hey, what we've done is great. Like, we're not saying we're a bad program, but we want more. There's nothing wrong with expecting more for this football program. I think that's totally okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bud built a monster. I mean, 47 straight games, and then it's been the most relevant, winningest football program since then. But we still haven't brought in the championships here in the latter half or the early part of this century that I think, I'm 54 years old now, something like that. I want to win at least 10 more before I die. Okay.
Hey, see, and that's what I'm talking about is healthy. Like, I think that's totally fine. I think it's totally okay. I mean, they're so close. Like, think of, I know the 04 title game got out of hand, but let's just say that they win 03 and 04. We're talking about one of the most dominant runs in college football history, winning 3 out of 5 right there in the early 2000s. And who knows what happens after that if OU's able to win those 2 games and maybe take off even more than what they were doing in those years after.
Yeah, no, and just one, the 2004 one muffed punt. That's what turned. Wasn't it Derek Strait that did that? Muff the punt against USC.
That would have been Mark Bradley.
Mark Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just turned that game.
Yeah, it did.
On its heels.
Well, going back to the relevance of OU, one thing I think that we've definitely done is held up our end of the blue blood moniker.
Oh, yeah.
Will. There are blue bloods out there that have not done that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you consider Nebraska and Notre Dame, blue blood programs. I think most people include Nebraska and Notre Dame, but they have definitely not held up that.
Yeah, Michigan.
USC, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time USC's been just really, really good? And they don't have an excuse. I mean, they've got one of the most talent-rich states. They're the it school in the most talent-rich states.
Right.
So, yeah. There's no. I mean, yeah. And really, you think about it, and Michigan's been on a big down spell. I'd say Texas has been on one. Texas is really like they've only had 2 brief periods of being extremely relevant in college football history when they were winning national championships. So Alabama's been down. It's pretty incredible just the consistency the program's had. Outside the 90s, this has been a program that year in and year out, decade in, decade out, has been considered as a national championship caliber team entering the year. And that's pretty big time.
Yeah. Well, and last week we had our first Texas fan, Austin Chittum, on with us, and I've worked for companies that we've had a bunch of offices down in Texas, and been around a lot of Texas fans. Maybe it's Oklahoma fans are more rabid. I mean, they care, but it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
it is, but their response to it is, they've haven't won 8 games in the last 10 years. A season. Yeah. I mean, and it's you've had 3 coaches in less than 10 years, and everybody seems to be okay with it.
I've had top 5 recruiting classes to go with that.
Yeah,
so.
And it's better. It's better for Oklahoma. I've always said this. Some people disagree with it. It's better for Oklahoma if Texas is good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because if you beat some people are like, no, if they're not any good, it's all better for us. Nobody will want to go there. Hey, when they're good, we're getting all the guys. You're just going to make sure you get all the better guys. But it makes it better for both of those schools. And I'm just like anybody, 63-14. I love that score, but. I also like, standing out on my patio, banging on the ice chest going, what the crap is going on? Stop somebody, but.
Yeah, it's odd, because it's really fun for them to go 5-7 and lose to Kansas and all that. There's few things that give me more joy than that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree with that, because I think that when Texas is really good, I think it forces OU to be the best version of itself.
Right.
Because when your biggest rival has really got it going and they're getting in kids that are really good and they're winning a whole lot of football games, it's not unlike anything else. I mean, pressure, once you have a lot of pressure on you, you kind of perform, at least I think a lot of people do, perform at a level that maybe they wouldn't otherwise. When Texas is really good, it forces you we can't lose to these guys. We can't lose to our biggest rival. We got to be better than them. It pushes you to maybe a new level that you wouldn't have otherwise. And look at the Big 12 right now. Who is OU really looking at this offseason and being okay, this is our big challenger. We got to be better than this team. Because I know when Teddy and those guys were there in the early 2000s, their whole offseason, they would laugh and make fun of Texas. That was kind of their driving force in the offseason. It's they're soft, they're coddled, and they got through the offseason and really focused on the game, focused on beating them. But OU really doesn't have, unless Ohio State's on the schedule,
No.
You don't really have that team in the offseason that you're, not that you're just focusing on that one game and that's it, but it's like a driving force throughout the offseason saying, like, we see that game's on the schedule right there, and we want to kick their ass. We want to beat them, so it kind of gets you through the offseason and gets better results maybe.
Yeah. Right now it's Lincoln needs to do something about Kansas State because
no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, we can't lose to them again.
Yeah.
No.
That what's his name? Klein?
Chris Kleiman.
Yeah, Kleiman. Yeah, golly. He's got Lincoln's number so far, and
I'm telling you, if Lincoln ever leaves, I want that guy.
oh yeah, I guarantee.
Well, he's won like 5 national championships in North Dakota State. So
Yeah.
talking about championship DNA. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy has it for sure.
And you know what? This is the North Dakota quarterback got drafted this year. He's put 2 quarterbacks in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy definitely knows what he's doing, and he, like I said, he's got, he's had Lincoln's number the first 2 years, so maybe we can pull that together.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that figured out.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the game I'm looking at. Tyler, what do you think the game is that circled on OU's calendar for the team?
Got to be Iowa State, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not just because they're going to be ranked, in the top 10 to enter the season, but man, they just played you so tough here recently. Like if OU goes into that game next year and takes Iowa State lightly, it's an epic fail, man, because they have pushed you in every way. I mean, they've beaten you twice in the past 5 years or so.
Yeah.
So if Iowa State hasn't got your attention by now, then that's an OU problem. So I think that game's got to be scheduled. And I really do think the Nebraska game is scheduled, not because they've been any good or anything, but now that it's so public that they tried to get out of that football game, I think Lincoln's really going to build it up. I think that coaching staff's really going to build that up. That is a massive recruiting weekend for them this year.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see we're going to see the best version of OU against Nebraska this year. I think that whatever the point spread is, give up the points because OU's seriously going to try to score about 70 points that night.
I think they're going to. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think maybe he'll have them a little bit together, but they're just coming apart. They continue to come apart at the seams. The last couple of years,
though they are. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I know you and I are both looking forward to that game.
Yeah.
That rivalry renewed, we're excited about.
Yeah, and again, how they didn't keep that game on the schedule, is beyond me. They, continue to play Oklahoma, Nebraska. It probably wouldn't have done Oklahoma any good. Maybe they knew what was going to happen. That
it might have done Nebraska some good.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, but think about how disrespectful that is to your fan base to do that, because that's a program that's fallen on hard times. Yes, but they recognize and realize what they've been in the past. So it would be like OU saying in 1998, this isn't a good example because I know that, they're not rivals or anything. But like in 1997, it's like, yeah, Syracuse, we don't want to play you because we think that you might beat us really bad. Like, think about how the OU fan base would react if OU tried to get out of a game because they thought that they were going to get beat really bad. I don't care if it was during John Blake's 1996 year. People around here would be pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
They should be. It's like it really is a slap in the face to their fans saying like, if I was a fan and I was paying all this money for season tickets, I'd be like, why would I want to continue to give you guys money? Like, you don't even think that you can compete with the elite. You want to run away scared. And that's how all their their fans felt. They were super disrespected at that. I mean, really, almost just really hurt that they would even fathom doing something like that, because as much as we're looking forward to it, I think they're really looking forward to it, because at least OU has, Texas every single year for a rivalry. But Nebraska, this rivalry with Iowa has been kind of forced on them. So they're kind of stranded out there, looking for a buddy. We don't have a buddy anymore that we used to play every single year, So getting that rivalry back is honestly probably a bigger deal for them than it is to us. Mm-hmm. Just because, again, OU's got, 2 rivalry games on the schedule every year, and they really don't have any.
Yeah. And, that's one thing that, Castiglione has done, I think, and I guess Bob had something to do with it, and Lincoln, I don't know how much say they have in the schedule, but they have done a good job of always getting a marquee team to play Oklahoma every year. We always got that big game, non-conference game. I could do away with, honestly, I'm tired of playing. Who are we playing? Tulane this year.
Yep.
And
Western Carolina. Or
Western
like
Carolina. Yeah, Tulane, okay, but these Western Carolina and the, South Dakota Jackalopes or whatever they were that came in here, it's like, man, no. I mean,
you'd rather a Tennessee or a Auburn or something like that?
No, I would rather, another, I don't know, another type, Tulane. What, I'm trying to think of some teams I would rather,
like a Duke or
something like that.
So not a powerhouse, but still somebody reputable,
right?
Okay, all right.
Not somebody that I might be able to make their roster. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, and like the Western Carolina, what the thing that you don't want. You don't want to spend $95 face value on a Western Carolina ticket. Like they can't continue to do that. You can't, because season ticket sales are going down right now, and the thing to get people back is not to say, hey, we're going to charge you $95 to watch OU play Western Carolina. Like you can't.
Oh,
can't
and if you don't want to pay $95 to go watch them, you got to pay $85 for the pay-per-view.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, pay-per-view. Those games. I'm a season ticket holder, so it's not that big a deal to me. But I mean, several years back, I wasn't. It was like, why am I having to pay? And then what really pisses me off about pay-per-view games is the commercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting. wait a minute. I paid $85 to watch this game, and I got to see the Reese's commercial.
I'd rather watch a blank screen. I promise you. I promise you I would.
Well, and you guys were saying earlier how much you hated Brent Musburger.
Yeah.
If anything, to have Brent Musburger on those broadcasts. Yeah. Normally those broadcasts.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad typically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Musburger. I don't know why did we start hating Brent Musburger, Rob?
I don't remember, but it was
I know later in his career it was all the creepy stuff he was saying about the moms in the stadiums.
Oh yeah, what was the Alabama quarterback? What was his name?
Yeah,
AJ McCarron.
Yeah, yeah, that was a little creeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it felt like in the early 2000s when OU was going on its roll that Brent always had money against OU.
Yeah,
you could, hear it in his voice a little bit, like. He had A&M plus 10, and he was going to root that to victory.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean,
I think he hit it right on the head.
It just, I've just never been a big fan of his. And then, like I said, it was it wasn't just AJ McCarron. He did it with somebody else and was talking about the player's mom and girlfriend, and it was like, yeah, and what's his name? That Kirk Herbstreit was just quiet, Yeah.
What do you say?
It was like,
what are you doing?
Speaking now, do you work in the booths with them? Do you do any of the games with the guys?
So, what I do is I get a press credential. So there's a lot of times where I'll sit up in the press box, but man, I hate sitting in the press box, guys, because I'm one of those dudes where I want to be in the action. I want to be in the middle of it. I want to feel the crowd. I want to feel the adrenaline, all that. And when you're up there in the press box, the sight line's okay because you can see a whole lot of things develop from that high up, but the windows are closed and you have to be quiet. And if you get cheering, you get kicked out of there. It's just this stuffy, lame, boring, it's like, God, this is not what football's all about. Let me get in the middle of the action. During the Rose Bowl, I couldn't take it. I literally, I was up there, I was like, I can't take this. So in the fourth quarter, I just found an empty seat on OU's side of the Rose Bowl and just sat there and watched the game. Because I was like, I cannot just sit here and have to be quiet the entire time. That does not work for me.
No.
I went in the crowd and watched the end of that football game. And I think from here on out, what I'll do is just, probably you'll never sit up there again and just sit in the seats. I don't know, man. That's where I grew up. That's where I want to be, and I don't want to miss out on an epic game happening but I couldn't hear the roar of the crowd because I was in the stuffy press box. That's not what I want to be about.
No, the reason why I asked was, were you in the booth when the young lady
Flash Teddy?
Flash Teddy?
No, that was I was not. That was at Texas Tech this year. But I have been in that booth before, in the radio booth, and I know exactly like which room and everything that he's talking about. So I am like, as weird as this sounds, I envisioned it happening when he was saying that. I'm like, yeah, I can actually see how that happened. Yeah. Honestly, I was knowing their fans. I was surprised that it didn't happen sooner.
Wow.
Quite
Well, you know.
Pocket full of tortillas and no shirt. That's how we roll at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what game it was. All I know is I don't know who put it out on social media, but it bounced out there, and it was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You know, Teddy's a popular guy, I guess, with the ladies.
Yeah, I guess so. Dang.
Rob, have you ever had that happen? Tyler, have you ever had it happen to you? So, you know.
Not yet.
Not
Not yet. But I feel like that's the things that go on at you guys' tailgate out there.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen without me, without an exchange of money.
Oh.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
OU is playing at Tulane this year, so I think in September.
Yeah, no, there are a few Sooner fans that come to the tailgate because I don't know, we're kind of the hub for Sooner Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
People come from all over the place so they can meet people that they know on Twitter that they don't know. That's the only way they know them. And there's a wild bunch out there, So.
Those people from East Jersey or West or South Jersey, they can't be trusted.
Yeah, they can't be trusted.
Yeah. South Jersey.
Yeah, Bill.
Wow.
Yeah, and don't say Jersey to him. He'll take you out.
Have his wife cut you.
But we've had Adrian from down in Fort Worth. One time she disappeared. Her and a couple of people disappeared, and during the tailgate, and they came back. I was like, "Where the heck did you go?" And we got bored. We went down to Sugars. I'm like, "What?"
So this
That's
is
what
my
they
crowd.
said.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice to know.
Yeah, it's like, why would you go to Sugars? And it was like, something to do. It was cooler in there. It's hot out here, so
Yeah. They're probably like, yeah, we got to go use the bathroom, so we went down to Sugars.
Yeah.
In there.
So do you have any inside information about tailgating this year? Are we going to be on the out on that deal?
I don't think because y'all were talking about it when on the show the other day. It wouldn't shock me if this is just what I've heard. Okay, and it's kind of I don't know how. Is that Oklahoma has been trying to go to monetize tailgating for quite a while.
Yep.
And
yeah,
they've got the tailgate guys, I know, which is fairly expensive to do because it's anywhere from what I sent it was like $4,500 to $10,000 for the season. But there's some people around us, including the Roughnecks,
right.
Family and Alumni Association do the tailgate right next to us, and those guys have been around. They've been, it's kind of the word is even the spaces that we're in is instead of just first come first serve, you've got to pay X amount of dollars for a given space to tailgate, and it may be $100 a game, it may be $500. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's talk. And some of it, they've come back with, at least the security has, is, you guys keep doing this. Some of you guys keep doing this. You're going to run tailgating for everybody. There's rules to when you can set up, when you can take down. And people want to get their spots every week, and they'll show up and put their little tape out, which is fine if you do it at 8 o'clock on Fridays. But
Sure.
if you do it at 7:45 on Fridays, they tear your stuff up. They take your tape away. They come out and, they tell everybody how bad we are for doing this. So I just heard that it's possible that, not just the tailgate guys, but, that they're going to start charging for spots because of the first come first serve. People are breaking the rules, getting there too early, and things like that.
Well, that's a shame because it just kind of defeats the purpose of what college football is all about.
Yeah.
It's like they almost want to have an environment that's not crazy because everyone's like, LSU, oh my God, the tailgating there is awesome. Like, it's like OU doesn't want that. They either want you to go to tailgate guys, which seems like it's a very controlled environment, or they want you to go to that big tailgate that they have in the indoor right there with all that. So I don't really like that because I want the full experience of college football. Like I think it'd be awesome to have something like Ole Miss does with the Grove, in a crazy atmosphere inside. So the fact that they want to regulate it like that I think that's a pretty big disservice to the fan base. I really do.
Absolutely. And Terry and I got to see UCLA's tailgating firsthand, and they tailgate better than we do.
Yeah, I mean, they have an entire golf course out there that people are. You just pull up. And,
no, I parked on the fairway of that golf course for the Rose Bowl. I was like, I feel awful for this. Like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I just feel bad. It's
I mean, but you just pull up and you people came in together. They parked all together and they put up their tents and, the Oklahoma, the university has shrunken the size every year for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years for tailgates. They took off Lindsay. Lindsay used to be, it was Lindsay. The south side of Lindsay used to just be packed with tailgates. It's no longer, and down the street too, and they just keep shrinking it. There's less and less places to tailgate. And it's harder to get the closer you get to the stadium, and I don't know why. Again, I'm with you, Ty. I don't know why they would want to restrict it. It's part of what college football is, as far as from a fan standpoint. And it's not easy to do when when you got to park 3 miles away, even though your tailgate's across the street from the stadium. You got to get there, unload all your stuff, and then go park, because to park in that parking spot there at Brooks and where's it at? Brooks and
Lindsay?
No, not Lindsay.
Jenkins.
Brooks and Jenkins. To park in that parking spot, the parking lot there is a $5,000 a year donation. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm like, I don't. I think I'll just go find a free spot or go pay $20, and then. But that's what people do. They come up, they unload. They set up on Fridays, and you can put stakes down at noon on Friday. And then whatever time the game is, you decide on what time to get there. You got to get there before the streets close, so you can get everything unloaded off onto the curb.
Yeah, because you ain't getting in once they close the street.
Yeah, and my hope is that it doesn't deter even more people to not coming to games anymore, because OU needs people to start buying up these season tickets. They need more and more people to start coming to games, and it's just not, especially after a year where a whole lot of people didn't go to the games. I feel like a whole lot of people might just say, like, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I might just stay home from now on. Or, I still like to go to the games, but this year I'm not going to buy season tickets, and I'll just go to the Nebraska and Iowa State game. I don't really want to pay for the other games. So I feel like you take away tailgating, you give people another reason not to come to games. And I don't think that that's very smart right now for OU or for any university.
And, I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm kind of lazy. Okay. And, during the season, I look forward to the away games because I get to stay at home. We just do, we cook burgers or whatever, for the away games here at the house, or we try to go to one away game a year. But, and this year wasn't so bad staying at home.
Right.
For all the games, I'm in my nice, comfy recliner. Now, our seats aren't that bad. We're not crammed in because my wife, she's has some disabilities, so we are on the front row of the north end zone. So I'm not stacked in on top of people, but I have been before we had those seats, I had some folks I didn't really enjoy being around. That were sitting way too close to me, because I am always the one, Tyler. I'm telling you, wherever we're at, okay, whatever game I go to, I will be just out of arm reach of the biggest asshole in the stadium. Okay, that thinks Lincoln Riley can hear him from the 75th row of the north end zone.
Right, and knows more than him.
Oh yeah. What are you doing? Come on. And I'm like, really? You're like ruining it for everybody,
Yep.
Yeah, I always get set next to those guys, and I'm just like, and not just guys. There's some pretty harsh females out there too, but for the most part, the people that I usually get set directly around are really nice, and we have a good time. But like I said, it's that person.
It's like, Lincoln, just run the ball so this guy will shut up.
Yeah.
Just run it.
Just run the ball.
Yeah, and I'm one. Okay, I become a recluse when I'm not happy with what's going on. Okay, I have to leave the room if I'm not happy. Watching it on TV, people don't bother me. It's horrible. Like the Army game.
Oh God!
A couple of years ago, I am just a bundle of energy, just sitting there with my head down, just tensing up. And my wife, Teresa, was like, "Honey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Just leave me alone." Just leave me alone.
That was the most. I mean, we've seen losses for sure, but that was the most painful game ever, because it's just like 3 yards, 3 yards,
yeah,
4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards. And they can't stop it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like, what's coming. They know everybody knows what play's coming, and they're going to get 3 yards and pick up this, 3rd and 2 that they have, and they're going to be out on the field for God.
And again, I'm one who pays attention to the stat lines below the score. And you look at time. You're looking at time of possession. I think it was in the third quarter we'd had the ball 4 minutes. I'm like,
that was a rough game.
And even Lincoln said after that game, people were like, couldn't you, control the ball? It wasn't like he tried. What are you going to tell these guys? Kyler, when you bust out in the open, don't go score.
Yeah, run out of bounds.
Yeah.
So we could score 2 more plays and take off only 37 seconds.
Right.
That. Yeah, I know.
It was he did everything, and that's what was irritating, was people around me were like, control the ball. I'm like, what? Okay, he just handed off to Sermon, and Sermon just got 80 yards, and now you can't stop these guys from doing anything. And then when the defense would hit the field, it was everybody was screaming at the defense.
We stumped them first and second down, and it was 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 15, and first down.
Right, I know. Yeah, that was kind of the first major domino. Well, not the first major domino. I think that was the big domino that fell in terms of Mike Stoops getting fired that year. That was kind of like after that, he was on thin ice. And then, of course, the Texas game happened a couple weeks later, and that was the end of that. But that was a that was a bad night, even though they won the game.
Yeah. So you brought that up. It's not that we want you to, we won't tell anybody if you tell us. Okay.
Fair.
Do you have any, what happened at the Texas game? Is it pretty much what everybody said happened? Or was
I haven't heard anything different. It was just like the fight that allegedly happened. There were I've never heard that there were any punches thrown or anything like that. It was just both guys were highly emotional, and he just walked out of the tunnel right there. And I think a lot of people have kind of seen that end zone right there. Like, if someone walks out of there, you can see it.
Yeah,
and that's weird. It's halftime, and Curtis Bolton, pissed off, walks out of there. It's whoa, something's really wrong. So no, I don't think those guys were wrestling or throwing punches or anything. Mike is very colorful and animated, as is Curtis Bolton, and that was just kind of 2 personalities that clash at that moment, and that's kind of what happened. But I think it got made way more of than what it actually was.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking to, we've had James Hell on here before, and James was talking to us. He's like, if what would have happened, what people say happened, he goes, somebody would have been arrested. I mean, that a coach can't punch a kid. No, that would not happen.
And you can't keep that equivocally out of the news.
Yeah, because
what was it? Woody Hayes. Woody Hayes got fired for punching a guy on the sideline when he was at Ohio State. It's his last game. Like, yeah, he gets fired, and I mean, you can't do that today.
But
no way.
But he also, in the Uwe von Schaumann game, he punched an OU guy. I
did not know that.
Oh yeah, if you watch the aftermath of that game, there's like a trainer that he like grabbed by. It wasn't like the one that he got fired for, because he had him on the ground throwing haymakers at him, but he grabbed like a trainer or something by the shirt and was pushing him and slinging, throwing right hands at him.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
wow.
But that was in the 70s when
when you could get away with that.
Everything was legal.
It was okay. It was okay.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, when your coaches would hit you with another guy's helmet, and as I've said, I in 8th grade football, I got a handful of ice for a water break. Not crushed ice.
Yeah.
Big fat pieces of ice, and water made us weak. So, but
Bear Bryant approved on that.
Oh yeah, there you go. But so Tyler, we appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you got going on this year other than getting married and going to weird workout pre-marriage workouts
with a groom T-shirt on? So we're gonna do. You guys will probably appreciate this. We're gonna do the honeymoon in Boston and New York. And my fiance is a huge Red Sox fan, but the Red Sox are out of town that week. So they're having all these concerts. So instead of going to a Red Sox game at Fenway, we're going to a Billy Joel concert.
Yes, I heard y'all talking about that.
So pretty excited about that. I've been to Fenway a few times, and it's awesome. But getting to see a concert like that is going to be really, really cool, I think. And I know like 5 or 6 Billy Joel songs. I'm not his biggest fan, but they love him up there. And to be able to see that in that park is going to be really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, his concert, I've seen it on I've never seen him live, but he had the last concert to close out Shea Stadium because he's a big Mets fan.
Yeah.
And that was, he had people, Paul McCartney flew in, okay, and he was late. They had to move his song back because, it was one of those HBO specials, and Paul McCartney flew in. He had all these people coming in to perform with him, and he got held up in customs. Paul McCartney did, and it was like, how does Paul McCartney get held up in customs? Going,
just let him through.
Yeah, do you not know who I am? But yeah, that'd be cool. So because there was like 3 concerts, wasn't there? There was.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses is the night before that. That would be really cool. You guys seem like Guns N' Roses guys. Is that fair to say?
Rob, probably. I'm a little bit. I'm not much of a what's his name.
Axl.
Axl looks like, I don't know, a bad what's it called, cosmetic surgery. At this point.
Well, way to go there, Mr.
Judgerton. I am Van Halen. Iron Maiden's my favorite band of all time. So
okay, all right, yeah. So they got like Lady Gaga coming that week. They got like Green Day, Weezer.
Now
they got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, my boys are going to that. I guess this was a concert that was supposed to happen last year. That Green Day, Weezer, and
it was at the ballpark down there in Arlington. I think is what it was originally scheduled.
Yeah, and I know they're doing it this year. So my son and my two boys and a couple of their friends had tickets last year for it, and they gave them the choice to either they could either cash them back in or wait and see if it got rescheduled. So they all just waited. So I think whenever it's coming back, they're going to that. Can we tell him what one of your favorite bands were, Rob?
It's Mariah Carey, isn't it?
No, it's worse.
So here's the thing, Tyler. I grew up in the 80s.
I did too.
And I grew up in a small town. We didn't have, we listened to what was on the radio, and we had one station. So I
Yeah.
pretty much grew up a fan of all 80s music, and I still am today. But I got to get a hard time because all Terry had was one tape of Iron Maiden. He listened to it over and over and over. Okay.
But what? Okay. You actually told me that was one of your favorite bands.
Well, at the time, they were.
Yeah. What's that? Say who it was.
there was a bunch of them, though, Terry. Why you got to focus on one of them?
It was Wham.
Oh man, wow. That is not. We could have been here all night.
And you wouldn't have thought of what I see.
Well, I can tell that he's like still a little bit self-conscious about it because you had to drag it out of him. I mean, you said it, not him. You know.
Yeah.
So,
See, Terry never
tailgate
listened
next
to.
year. We need to get Wham going on before the game.
Terry never listened to any band but Iron Maiden. That's
That's
all
pretty much
he
it.
listened to. I listened to
Right?
everything because I didn't have a
So-
choice.
What happens if there's a new tradition where before every home game Wham plays? It's like a good luck, feel good.
Well,
before the game.
Rob will be
you know?
doing that "Wake Me Up Before You Go" dance that they did.
Yeah, I guarantee you, just kind of how weird things happen. That's going to be the song of the game. A Wham song is going to be how they vote on the song of the game up there. That's a Wham song is going to happen this year. You watch.
Absolutely.
But say it,
And I'm just going to point at Terry.
and that's one of the things about my childhood and kids growing up today, because I vividly remember, okay, and this may sound weird, Tyler, but I vividly remember watching college football probably in the early 2000s, and Notre Dame was playing, okay, and the Notre Dame band started playing Crazy Train from Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, man, times have changed, because in 1980, when that song came out, the Catholic Church was trying to burn Ozzy Osbourne at the stake. Okay.
Sure.
And
I'm sure they didn't condone him biting the head off the bat.
No.
that kind of makes sense.
yeah, but it was like, now I'm sitting here and their marching band is playing one of his songs. It's just, and now with all the college teams playing all the music between plays and everything else, you hear Ozzy coming through. That's just surreal to me.
Yeah.
We've gone, complete, what is it, 360, 480? Help me out, Rob. You're the smart one in the group.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that.
If he's the smart one in here, we're in trouble.
Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Everyone listening just nodded their heads like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the truest thing that's been said this whole time.
Well, you are welcome to come out to the tailgate. We always post it on on Twitter. What time, and like I said, we usually we tell everybody bring their own drinks, and because I tried that supplying the drinks for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, that's a lost cause. But bring your own drinks, and we it's never anything very fancy.
We're visiting team friendly.
Yeah, we've had some fans.
Except Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah,
Or even
Little brother and sister.
They won't even come over there. I mean, they don't even come in there. But there's some schools like Kansas State, and I think Iowa State. Their fans will just walk into your tailgate, which is cool.
Yeah.
They're just walking. Hey guys, how's it going? Y'all mind if I hang out a bit? And because we got TVs going, we got music playing, but we always have a pretty decent, nothing fancy, but a pretty simple, chips, queso, some barbecue, something like that out there, burgers or something going.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. So you're welcome to come out.
I'm definitely. We'll all come by for a game this year. Maybe I'll wear my groom T-shirt so you guys can get a good laugh. Try to make that happen.
All right, but hey, Tyler, again, we appreciate you joining us, and we hope to do it again before too long. When we'll do it again before the season starts.
Yeah, sounds good. Anytime, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, man. And that was Tyler McComas from the radio show The Rush on Sportstalk 1400. Nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
And I listen to 14. I know you do too. You just listen to it on the radio. I'm not sure if we're worldwide. You know that, Rob.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
All over the world. But if find I think it's KREF online, but Sports Talk 1400. You can listen to the 4 best radio shows or Oklahoma radio shows in the market.
Back to back to back.
All day long.
Yep.
You got T-Row, you got the Plank Show, then you got James Hill, and you got the Rush with Teddy and Tyler, and and they get into some great conversations. They bring
crack
up some
me up. They really do.
Yeah, and the point of that's one of the reasons I was glad he was okay with coming on was I love that point they made. They talked like an hour on it, about
championship
all these coaches, you look at all, Oklahoma, they went through the list. There's nobody there that has any, except for Cale.
Well, I think we have to define what it means to be a championship coach.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily means that you have to have a championship under your belt. I think you have to have the championship mindset, that entails everything from work ethic to
Well, and like I was saying, from that Big 12 championship to that bowl game is a long time, and obviously Saban and Dabo know how to prepare those kids.
They know how to finish a game. I'll give them that for sure.
Finish that through there. And, maybe that's something that Lincoln has just gotten better at, and that we'll see hopefully.
Well, I think that it doesn't take very long. Let's just take the Georgia game. We had them.
Yeah, had them.
We were kicking the snot out of them. Yeah. And we came out, and obviously you're not going to get the coach, and you wouldn't want the coach to say, we took it easy because we didn't want to embarrass them, or we wanted to save ourselves for the next. Whatever the excuse was, you're not going to get a coach to say that's what we did. But from an outside, a fan perspective, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So he's going to learn from that.
Yeah.
And he's going to go, you know what? George can come back on you. So let's just go ahead and score another 28 points right here and shut the door.
Right.
So,
and it doesn't take brilliant fans to realize that we came out and put our foot out. We scored every time we touched the ball in the first half.
In the first half, we certainly did.
Came out, went 3 and out.
And we played pretty good defense, too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what changed in the locker room, but some did.
Yeah. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have another fun guest on next week.
Funner than us, Terry?
Well, they'll add to the fun.
Okay.
So, but that's the podcast, folks. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Boomer up.
Sooner, Terry.